Since you guys really seem to love the recent video that I did about why I moved to Florida instead of California, and just in case you haven't seen it, I'll link it right here for you, but I realized that you guys really loved that video, so I thought this would be a great opportunity for me to showcase all the things I really love about living here in Miami Beach, because if you did see that video, then you would know that I kind of accidentally ended up here. But what ended up happening is that since I've been here for all this time, I ended up falling in love with the area. And so in this video, I'm going to showcase some of the things that I really love about living here in Miami Beach. This list is in no particular order. I just thought of a bunch of random things that I love about living here. So let's check them out. Very high on my list is being able to walk everywhere. And coming from rural Illinois, where you have to drive every place you want to go, and literally everything is like a 10-15 minute drive away minimum, and then moving to a place like this where I can just walk across the street and get to the grocery store, restaurants, bars, the post office is just a couple blocks away, the bank is just a couple blocks away, the beach is in my backyard, and so many other things I can't even name. But it's like when you come from one extreme to the other like that, and you realize now you can walk everywhere, that adds a huge level of convenience to your life, okay? And it's one of my favorite features about living in Miami Beach, because almost anywhere you live in Miami Beach, this is possible, except for maybe mid-beach and some parts of really on the north end of North Beach, because there's just not that many stores and restaurants nearby those areas. But in most of Miami Beach, you are within walking distance of everything Miami Beach has to offer, and that's pretty awesome. The name says it all here, and I really couldn't mention this list without putting this on it, and of course that would be the beach. The beach here is absolutely beautiful. I have seen comments from people saying that they love certain beaches in Florida, the West Coast beaches, the East Coast beaches, whatever, but we definitely have one of the most beautiful beaches in all of Florida here, I guarantee it. If you've never been here, then you don't know until you come and check it out for yourself. The next thing I really love about this area is over the last few years, the city has been making a big effort to put on a lot of free events. Just down the street, we have the Miami Beach Band Shell, and over there they put on a ton of free music concerts, and especially like on the 4th of July weekend and stuff like that, they'll have concerts and fun things to do all day long. Down in South Beach, they're putting on a free movie night, where every Wednesday they put up a movie in the park. They'll project a movie onto the side of the World Symphony Center that we have down there, and anybody can just come and pull up a chair or lay down a blanket and come watch the movie. So that's great for families or just getting out of the house and going out and doing something. I'm not sure if they're going to be doing all this stuff now due to the illness, but it was something that was happening quite a bit before all this stuff started, and I imagine they're going to start it back up soon. Another thing I love about Miami Beach is you can kind of pick the vibe or the lifestyle that you want to live in this very small town of Miami Beach. And what I mean by that is if you want to live in a nice quiet house in a neighborhood where you don't hear a thing besides the birds chirping, that's available. If you want to live in the madness and be walking distance to all the bars and nightclubs, that's available. If you want to live on the ocean but don't want to be next to all the madness like me, that's available. If you want to live in a very cheap place but still have access to world-class amenities, it's available. I think that even though Miami Beach is expensive in general, it offers a lot for the money here, and it really does depend on where you're coming from and how you look at the budget. But I think it's pretty affordable for just about everyone, because if you're gonna live in an area like this, then obviously you need to make a decent amount of money. But you don't have to be rich, because I'm not rich and I've been able to live here for over 12 years just fine. Our free parks and workout equipment. I've kind of briefly shown this in some of my other videos in the past, but all of the parks here now are starting to have workout equipment installed there, and it's totally free to use. And it's pretty awesome because, like I said before in some of my past videos, being in shape is a huge priority for me here and for a lot of other people that live in Miami Beach. And if you want to exercise outside and you don't want to waste money on a gym membership and get a tan while you're working out, that's available here too. All you animal lovers are going to love this part. The city is very pet friendly. And what I mean by pet friendly is that we have a ton of dog parks around the neighborhoods, and we have plenty of stations where they have, the bags where you can clean up after your dog, And a lot of the buildings here do allow pets, you know, not all of them. I would say probably around half of them roughly allow pets, so that's not too bad. And obviously if you live in your own house, you can do whatever you want and have a pet or not, it's up to you. But the city in general is very pet friendly, and a lot of people here have dogs, and it's just kind of like a way of life here. Besides the beach, this is definitely one of my favorites and something that is kind of new, sort of, and that would be our boardwalk here in Miami Beach. When I first moved to Miami Beach a little over 12 years ago, Miami Beach had no boardwalk. Where the boardwalk is now, all used to be just sand and bushes, and there was no light, there was nothing out there. So after dark, you're walking in the dark sand, and there's no boardwalk, and you couldn't walk from North Beach to South Beach like you can now, and that kind of sucked for a while. And I always remember thinking, because at that point I had already been to California before, and I was in San Diego, and I remember the huge long boardwalk they had there, and I just always kept thinking, like, why don't we have this here in Miami Beach? This seems like a very simple thing to have right next to a beach and in a beach town. Lo and behold, a few years later they started building out the boardwalk. It took a very long time for it to get where it's at now, where it pretty much connects all the way from North Beach to South Beach. They're working on one stretch still that's still kind of closed, but you can go around it on the sidewalks and still walk from here to South Beach or ride a bike if you want. And once it's all done, it's going to be awesome, and it's certainly one of my favorite parts about living here. I take full advantage of it ever since it's been open, and I go for late night walks here, and I just love it. It's great. Miami Beach is also cooler than the mainland of Miami. I'm talking about being on the coast here and right on the ocean. We constantly get an ocean breeze here, and that consistently keeps it cooler over here than on the mainland. And it can be up to 5 to 10 degrees cooler actually, so it makes quite a big difference living right over here by the ocean versus living inland a few miles where you really don't get that ocean breeze anymore, but you still get the sweltering heat and humidity. So it's nice that being right here on the beach, we get to take advantage of the slightly cooler temperatures, especially during the summer. Another thing I love about Miami Beach, this is one of the safest areas of Miami actually, and I get a lot of people asking me about that when they want to move here or they're looking for the right neighborhood to live in and they're concerned about that. Even when I first moved here, my parents were concerned about the area I was going to be living in because they saw all this crazy, terrible stuff about Miami on TV, and Miami Beach is one of the safest neighborhoods in all of Miami, and we have a lot of police here that are constantly patrolling and constantly keeping things under control here, especially when we get a lot of riffraff during holiday weekends or big events and things like that. So basically, Miami Beach is a very safe place. I know back in the day, like around sometime in the mid to late 80s, it was pretty dangerous here, especially down in South Beach and even parts of North Beach here where I live. But things have gotten much better here since then. I never feel unsafe just walking around the neighborhood here. Water is everywhere. And what do I mean by that? I mean, you got the ocean over here, you got the intracoastal over there, you got the bay over there. Everywhere you look, you see that beautiful turquoise, blue, and green water, and it's such a beautiful thing to see. I just love always looking around and seeing that. And if you live inland somewhere in Florida, you're never going to see that. The most you're going to see is like a pond with some alligators in it. So living over here is just beautiful. I also sort of touched on this one a little bit in one of my past videos, but in case you didn't see that, I'm going to mention this part again. And I think that living here in Miami Beach is very inspiring. And what I mean by that is you're living next to millionaires and billionaires here. It's sort of like Beverly Hills, but in Miami, you know, on the East Coast. Because let's face it, Miami Beach is a pretty expensive place to live, and we have plenty of very expensive real estate here. There's no shortage of that. But it is also nice that somebody average like myself can still afford to live here and live amongst the elite like that. And it kind of gives you the inspiration to be like that, but also actually gives you connections because you end up meeting some of those people. You start making friends with some of them, and a lot of them are very good people. And I'm proud to say that, you know, the friendships that me and Lizzie have formed here with these people has been a very good experience overall, and it does help. It helps to have connections in the world and in life, guys. So it really does matter where you live sometimes and how far you end up being able to make it. So it's definitely an advantage of living here in Miami Beach, no doubt. Miami Beach also has some of the best people watching in the world, I would say, especially on Lincoln Road. If you've never been to Miami Beach before, Lincoln Road is a must visit, and it's pretty much one big outdoor shopping mall, and people are just always walking down there because there's plenty of stores and restaurants and bars. And I see all the time people just go to the cafes there just to people watch. I've been guilty of it myself. And you do see some pretty interesting characters and different things happening down there. So I would highly suggest doing that if you're into the people watching. It's top notch here. And of course, the weather. The weather here in Miami Beach is beautiful year round, especially in the winter time. But even in the summer, it's not too bad. I mean, I have mentioned before that I'm not a huge fan of being in Florida in the summertime. It's still beautiful here, guys, especially when it's blue skies and you got the beach out there, the water's clear. You just go outside, lay on the beach, get in the water if you're hot, and life is good. You can look past the heat, and that's exactly what I do, and I'm about to do it right now after I'm done shooting this video. One more thing I want to mention before I go, this has nothing to do with Miami Beach. I am offering one-on-one consulting calls with anybody that's looking to move to Florida, who wants to ask me questions about moving to Florida, or real estate questions, or just whatever they have in mind. I have a link for this down in the description below. I just wanted to mention that for any of you new people out there who are watching and might be wondering how you can get in closer contact with me. This is how you do it. I've done a few of these calls with some of my viewers already, and they seem to be pretty happy with my advice, so I would be happy to do a call with you if you wish, and the link is down below. I hope you guys enjoyed hanging out with me as much as I enjoyed hanging out with you in this one, and if you did and you still want to see more, I have plenty more videos for you to check out right over here, and I'll see you guys over there in that next video.